Part of living in California, huh? That Pineapple Express.
A new round of storms threatening to cause damage and flooding all across the West, with California expected to see some of the worst problems.
We already have that moist soil, and with the predicted winds coming through, our biggest worry is a lot of those trees coming down in some of these neighborhoods, lines down, trees into houses, stuff like that.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. The first of two strong storms is moving in tonight. In Northern California, we are already seeing wind gusts bringing trees down and kicking up the surf. And in Southern California, work is underway to help prevent landslides and also prevent a repeat of the severe flooding that people experienced across the San Diego area last week. Here's a live look tonight at conditions in San Francisco, where drivers heading across the Golden Gate Bridge are having to navigate some wet roads. We begin tonight's weather team coverage with KTVU's Tom Vakar, who talked with emergency crews who are preparing for possible high water rescues in Sonoma County.
In this atmospheric river event, the Santa Rosa Fire Department and Sonoma County in general say it's too much of a risk to be underprepared.
Working with the National Weather Service, what they're predicting is obviously the 3 to 5 inches over the next 24 hours. And a lot of that, up to 5 inches could impact the city of Santa Rosa.
In Sonoma County, Santa Rosa Fire Department has its own swiftwater rescue team. Throughout the county, there are 3 such teams. And even though that seems like a lot, it's an awfully big county.
Those crews kind of met up this morning, checked all their gear, got their boats ready, and are ready to deploy at any time if needed within the city or into some of the neighboring jurisdictions if they were to need assistance from us.
That means water rescues, be they raging ocean waves, over swollen and fast-running creeks, the Russian River, or localized flooding, all scenarios well practiced and possible, if not probable. By mid-morning, Sonoma County roads and highways were being pummeled by steady rains. On northbound Highway 101, hydroplaning led to a multi-car accident. Fortunately, no one was injured and the cars can be repaired or replaced. In Guerneville, where schools were closed 10 days ago, when Fife Creek overflowed its banks, they were open on Wednesday. The Kashia School, a K-8 school near the coast, and Sunridge School in the Twin Union School District in Sebastopol were closed. But the biggest danger is in the wind.
The more problematic thing for us that we're kind of looking out for is we already have that moist soil, and with the predicted winds coming through, our biggest worry is a lot of those trees coming down in some of these neighborhoods, lines down, trees into houses, stuff like that.
In Marin, where all of the above are on the menu, the road to Drake's Beach has been closed along with some other seaside location. In San Rafael's Black Diamond neighborhood, less than a mile from downtown, in heavy rains, a hillside turns into a waterfalls more than 100 feet high, and it is sure to grow as more rain falls. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
People in flood-damaged neighborhoods across San Diego County are worried these new storms will slow the recovery effort there. A live look tonight at San Diego's harbor, and you can see things look dry for now. But a flood watch takes effect in this area tomorrow morning, with some of the heaviest rain expected throughout the day. These new storms come on the heels of last week's flash flooding that inundated many homes and businesses. Video on social media shows San Diego city crews working to get ready for the upcoming rain by cleaning out flood channels and storm inlets. They've also been delivering supplies to some of the flood-damaged neighborhoods, and sandbag stations have been set up for anyone who needs them. A little farther north from there, crews are scrambling to keep a landslide from getting worse in Orange County with more rain arriving. Fox 11's Laura Diaz shows us how people in that community are coping with the ongoing threat.
Part of living in California, huh? That Pineapple Express.
On a sunny Wednesday afternoon in beachside San Clemente, people took the impending storms in stride. They ran on bike paths and got in touch with their zen doing yoga poses. But just a stone's throw from there, work went on at a feverish pitch. Crews working 16-hour days, 7 days a week, since the landslide that shut down rail service through coastal Orange County. This afternoon, project teams were busy grading, excavating, covering hillsides in plastic to keep the hillsides from collapsing.
And if you're actually on property that is prone to flooding, we do have sand and sandbags that are available to residents.
And that was Fox 11's Laura Diaz reporting tonight. People along Oregon's coast are hoping these new storms won't worsen problems at the site of a slow-moving landslide there. Mud started sliding down a hill in Astoria on Saturday. People have been warned to stay out of 5 homes in this area. Some of the roads are closed because the streets are buckling. City leaders say excessive rainfall coupled with high groundwater led to this slide. Mountain communities all across the West are expecting more new snowfall from this week's storms. Here is a live look tonight at Mount Hood in Oregon, where skiers have been keeping the resorts busy even as we head into these evening hours. A lot of folks getting on the lifts there. We continue tonight's team coverage of these storms hitting the West with KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking this storm system moving in tonight. Mark?
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, 2 storms we're watching this week. The one moving in right now, and then another one that could impact especially California as we head into Sunday. So yeah, it's an atmospheric river. We've been watching this over the past few days, and right now it has been focused up in Northern California, approaching San Francisco as well. This will eventually head towards Southern California as we head into your Thursday. Take a look at the rainfall totals over the past 24 hours. Santa Rosa, this is all in the San Francisco Bay Area. Santa Rosa, San Rafael, about 1.5 inches of rainfall. San Francisco, 0.46, and Napa, 0.67. A flood watch posted for the Bay Area through Thursday night. All these areas in green. In fact, we actually have some flood advisories indicating that we do have some heavy rainfall right now showing up and actually indicating some flooding out there as well. Now, wind advisory of a strong southerly wind in place, as you can see, with winds over 40 miles an hour and a high wind warning in these red areas with the winds over 50 to 60 miles an hour. So here is the West Coast satellite. You can see this circulation offshore here, some rain showers up in the Pacific Northwest. But look at all these rain, the rain contours, the rain bands moving into Northern California and the San Francisco Bay Area. So here's a closer look as we come in. The rain in portions of Oregon, Eureka up in Northern California, and then as we head toward the southern half of the state here, this band is approaching the central coast, and we are expecting some rainfall to develop in Los Angeles over the next as we head into your Thursday. So take a look. This was the scene today in Seattle. They have some off and on rain in the forecast as we head into tomorrow. Temperature of 58 degrees from today. San Francisco, the storm clouds definitely moving in, 60 degrees, and then down in Southern California, actually in Phoenix, I should say, in Arizona, you can see those high clouds streaming in, temperatures in the upper 60s. So here we go with the forecast model. As you can see here, some rain showers up in Medford, Oregon, up in Seattle, Washington. This is Thursday afternoon, and still some off and on rain for the Bay Area. Look at the activity ramping up down toward Los Angeles and in San Diego. So this is for your Thursday, and then into Friday, it remains unsettled. We could be talking about some mountain snow in the Sierra as that cooler air moves in. That means snow levels coming down over the next several days, and then this is Friday, 5 p.m. So here you can see the overall forecast model showing you the first system moving in, and then another one that wants to come on board, and this will be developing into Sunday and into Monday. That could be packing some heavy rain and possibly some strong winds. So as you can see with the forecast model, these numbers really adding up in a few spots. San Francisco down toward Los Angeles, even some rainfall that could move into Phoenix and Las Vegas. So as you can see the 3-day forecast, it is fairly active for most locations except out toward Denver, at least for Thursday and Friday. We're just expecting a sun cloud mix. But remember, this is the first system coming on board, and Alex, we're still talking about another atmospheric river that wants to move into the region or develop and set up offshore as we head into Sunday. Yeah,
a whole lot more rain headed our way. Mark, thank you. People living in one apartment complex in Northwest Washington are worried the wet weather will make a mold problem in their units even worse. They tell Fox 13's Lauren Donovan the mold is making some people sick.
The flooding of the apartments is just getting ridiculous these days.
Renters tell me weeks ago during the cold snap, record-freezing temps sent this Bellingham complex into a state of chaos. Fire sprinklers burst, flooding units occupied by low-income tenants.
That's when all the water started coming down. 6 inches of water in my complex.
When we showed up here at the Meadowood townhomes, everyone was eager to talk. Everyone had a story to share. They say conditions in these Section 8 rentals are horrific. And unfortunately, the company that runs this place is refusing to do anything about it.
I feel kind of frightened, like what is wrong with this apartment complex?
19-year-old Augustine Foster is waiting on a voucher. She's worried about raising her 1-year-old daughter in a place like this.
I want to get out of here. Mold's been growing in the apartment.
Neighbor James Wrights tells me in the 5 years he's lived here, mold's been a serious issue.
First one is carpet is coming up from the doorway,
And it's still on the growing list of things to fix.
and they just keep telling us, well, just keep using bleach, use bleach. And the problem is we have little ones. We have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they have respiratory issues because of the mold in our house. And within 1 day, their feet look like they've been walking through charcoal.
James shared these shocking photos from inside his apartment, seeping through the carpet, creeping up the walls. It's everywhere.
We've scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and it just keeps coming back.
I stopped by the front office here, talked to management, asked them to comment on these complaints. They're refusing to do so. Reporting in Bellingham, Lauren Donovan, Fox 13 News.
Up next tonight on West Coast Wrap, the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing off in Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. But leading up to the big game, the two teams won't be staying anywhere near the Strip. We'll take you to the small community that is about to be put into the spotlight. Also, a new effort by restaurants in Arizona to reduce their food waste, how they're getting creative with leftovers to try to help the planet. In Nevada, the Culinary Union has reached a tentative contract agreement for workers at the Plaza Hotel in Las Vegas, just 2 days ahead of a strike deadline. The union says it struck a 5-year deal with the property, which will cover about 250 hospitality workers. The announcement came just hours after the union announced a tentative deal for around 1,000 workers at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino. The union has set a strike deadline of Friday morning for 13 remaining properties in Las Vegas. Well, a sleepy town east of Las Vegas is on the verge of being thrust into the Super Bowl spotlight. Both the 49ers and the Chiefs will be setting up their headquarters in Lake Las Vegas, about 25 miles east of the famous Strip. Fox 5's Victoria Saha shows us how this small resort community is about to get very busy.
Lake Las Vegas, a resort-like feel just outside the Las Vegas Strip.
I think, you can tell people, but until they actually come and see it, I think it's, it's hard to really get the whole view of what it's like out here.
This view will be what the 49ers and the Chiefs will be waking up to. Starting this weekend, each of the Super Bowl teams will be calling Lake Las Vegas home until the big game. Dan Battistone is the manager for the sports club at the lake. He says this is far from anything they could have imagined, as this area wasn't always a pretty sight to see.
This was all brown at one time, in the recession, Lake Las Vegas, that was a tough time for all of Las Vegas, and especially Lake Las Vegas.
But now it's booming with businesses, houses, and 2 big hotels. The 49ers and the Chiefs will each be staying at the Hilton and the Westin.
Yeah, I think this probably from a worldwide perspective kind of brings Lake Las Vegas on the map here as far as, like I said, I think it used to be more of a secret. And I think, obviously the Super Bowl is a worldwide event, and I think that's a great thing for Lake Las Vegas.
Kendra Daniels, owner of Once Upon a Nail Salon, also knows what it feels like when the area was struggling to keep afloat.
We've grown so much over the past few years, and it's been really fun to see it. Also, just the village itself is super full now. We have lots of new businesses like ourselves.
And businesses like her nail salon are ready to take on whatever the Super Bowl may bring.
I mean, it's going to make the village really happening. It's going to be very busy, great for our local businesses.
And whoever may show up.
Kendra, what would you do if Taylor Swift walked in through those doors and wanted a manicure?
Oh, I'm so ready for some Swiftie action in here. I think I'm going to have we have magic potion mimosas. I'm going to have one just created just for her. So Taylor Swift, come on down, come on in here, get magically pampered, and see what all the fuss is about.
And that was Fox 5's Victoria Saha reporting for us tonight. You can find extensive coverage and all the excitement of the build-up to Super Bowl Sunday at our website, westcoastwrap.com. Our online coverage includes a look back at how a history of halftime shows have turned the game's entertainment into a global spectacle.
Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
An emotionally charged moment on Capitol Hill today as Meta's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, apologized directly to parents who blame his social media platform for hurting their children. That apology came during a tense hearing that put the leaders of several major social media companies on the hot seat. answering some tough questions about the risks of child exploitation on their platforms. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee grilled the leaders of Meta, TikTok, X, and other tech companies about the negative impact social media is having on young people. The tech leaders did speak about some of the safeguards and changes they say are being put in place.
The steps that we're taking to protect teens are a critical part of our larger trust and safety work as we continue our voluntary and unprecedented efforts to build a safe and secure data environment for U.S. users, ensuring that our platform remains free from outside manipulation and implementing safeguards on our content recommendation and moderation tools. Keeping teens safe online requires a collaborative effort as well as collective action.
Missing from today's hearing were representatives from YouTube. A study from the Pew Research Center found 93% of U.S. teenagers use that platform. A bipartisan bill that aims to address the growing crisis at the southern border may be dead in the water. The bill's sponsors accuse former President Trump of encouraging House Speaker Mike Johnson to kill that legislation so that Trump can continue to make it a key campaign issue. Republicans are suggesting they will not vote for the bill, even though President Biden has said he is willing to agree to tougher immigration policies. The White House says their opposition contradicts Republicans' calls to address the border crisis.
To be sure, we're not going to agree to a fix that doesn't actually solve the problem. We would be derelict in our duty if we did that, because we know what the problems are and we know how to fix them.
As the President and his team continue working to deliver a historic bipartisan agreement on the border, House Republicans have a choice to make. They can keep playing politics, or they can work in a bipartisan way to secure the border.
The White House and a group of bipartisan senators have been working on this legislation for weeks now, and they're hoping to officially unveil it as early as this week. Some migrant families in the Seattle area are worried they're about to get kicked out of a motel. They say they've been told their temporary housing bill has not been paid in weeks. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with some of them about how they're trying to get help.
From the outside looking in, they're just children playing and laughing until you see the message written across this piece of paper a little girl is carrying saying, "Invest in people."
This is a tragedy.
Full families, other single women and children, and men marched into City Hall pleading for help.
No queremos ser una carga para ustedes.
These migrants seeking asylum, the majority of them from Venezuela, say things haven't been easy.
Dejar mi familia por un futuro mejor para ellos, como tanto para mí y mi hijo.
22-year-old Jose Miguel says he fled his country with his 3-year-old son and his 19-year-old partner, leaving behind his parents in search of a better future for them and his new family. He's one of the dozens here who recounts a trek through Panama, Guatemala, and Mexico to get to the U.S.
Hubieron violaciones, hubieron robos.
Maigualida Alvarez says her journey into the U.S. took 2 months. She says it was emotionally and physically painful as she crossed rivers and forests, witnessing rapes, theft, and death.
Parte fue una alegría porque tenía ya 8 meses sin ver a mis hijas y a mis nietos, volver a reencontrarme con ellos.
In tears, the 47-year-old says it was all worth it when she arrived in Seattle on December 15th and was reunited with her daughters and grandchildren after 8 months. Both migrants ended up at the encampment at this church in Tequila. Fortunately, they say an organization helped several dozen families. They rented rooms at the Quality Inn in Kent, giving them more privacy and warmth as they moved them away from tents. The roof over their heads is now at risk, as migrants say they were told the motel hadn't been paid for in at least 15 days. With nowhere to go, they turned to Seattle City Council. They pleaded for emergency funding to extend their stay at the Quality Inn while their immigration status is reviewed and can work to provide for their families. These families say it's difficult to return to the encampment.
This is clearly a crisis for this refugee community, but it is a crisis that has been longstanding in the state of Washington, and we have to get serious about addressing the housing issue.
Right now, migrants are waiting to find out if local, county, and state officials will be able to step in and help cover the balance, as well as extend their stay. We're still waiting to find out. Of course, Fox 13 will stay on top of this and bring you the latest as we continue to learn more. In Kent, Alejandra Guzman, Fox 13 News.
Up next on West Coast Wrap tonight, reimagining what restaurants do with food waste. Coming up, the new effort underway in Arizona meant to benefit the planet. Also, the golden years are looking bright for 2 senior dogs. Ahead tonight, how a shelter found a forever home for this inseparable pair. A project underway in Arizona puts a new spin on the idea of leftovers. Fox 10's Desiree Fluellen shows us how restaurants are being challenged to use their food waste to help save the planet.
The Project Reduce program was 10 weeks long. The city of Phoenix and restaurants evaluated their food waste and made changes accordingly.
It was a fun challenge to be able to educate our team, educate even our customers.
Abner and Maria are with Earth Plant-Based Cuisine and Goji Berry Cafe. Both concepts place an emphasis on caring for the planet. The goal of Project Reduce was to implement food waste prevention strategies.
We're using scraps with making sure that all of our trash is separated properly, even teaching about recycling, which not a lot of people know how to distinguish between the different kinds of plastics and papers and what is recyclable and what isn't.
Executive Chef Chris Lenza was tasked with collaborating amongst other chefs.
And look at ways in their front of the house or back of the house culinary practices that where they can reduce food from going to the landfills. 9
restaurants participated. There was even a little fun. They were tasked with creating some new dishes.
They came up with recipes to recover food waste going to the landfill.
Some of the finished dishes you see here. The owner of Fair Trade Cafe, in Phoenix now for 16 years, says it all started with sustainable coffee, but now they're doing more.
And it becomes, where do I find compostable products? And so we proudly divert over 500 pounds every week with JD in Recycle City for over a decade now.
Over the course of the 10-week pilot program, 31,000 pounds of food waste from all 9 restaurants was prevented from entering the landfill. Desiree Fluellen, Fox 10 News.
Finally tonight, an animal shelter in Arizona is celebrating their latest adoption that allows a senior dog duo to stay together for their golden years. Nino and Bella, both 12 years old, have spent their lives together, and now they are going to the same forever home after getting adopted from Maricopa County's Animal Care and Control. Nino is a large pit bull mix, and Bella is a tiny Chihuahua. The shelter says their size difference doesn't stop them from playing together and bringing out the best in each other.
These two are attached at the hip. We are always seeing them snuggling up next to each other. Bella's usually curled up next to him or laying straight on top of Nino. We call it climbing Nino Mountain. And sometimes we just see her standing on top of him trying to get a better view of the world. So they're really cute and they are inseparable.
Yeah, they look like they have a lot of fun together. By the way, Maricopa County does have many other dogs available for adoption. You can check them out on their Animal Care and Control website. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. Appreciate you watching. You can stay up to date on all the stories we are following online at westcoastwrap.com. And remember to stream our shows right there on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. Hope you have a great rest of your night. I will see you back here tomorrow night.